listening to the Ocean Rowing Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Painter, physical therapist and owner of Strong and Empowered Rowing. I help people continue their love of rowing without aches and pains. Along the way, I decided I wanted to row across the Atlantic Ocean. I'm finding it super hard to get in touch with previous ocean rowers and find the answers on how to make this possible. So this podcast is to share my story and what I learn as I get ready for and ultimately cross the Atlantic Ocean. Hear from experts in different areas and from others who have completed ocean rows. So anyone who wants to do this has easy access, and we can share our stories with the world. All right, welcome to episode 4 of the Ocean Rowing Podcast. I'm super excited you're here. This episode, my goal is to share a little bit about what I've been up to, where I am in my thought process, answer some questions that some of you guys have asked me, and tell you who I've been talking to and who I hope to have on this show pretty soon, actually. So for those of you just tuning in, my name's Amanda Painter, and I am hoping to row across the Atlantic Ocean in December of 2022. I am at the beginning of this process as it is early 2019 right now. And basically, I just want to share as I go where I'm at, what I'm thinking, and things like that. So I'm going to start with some questions that some of you guys have had, and then I'm going to go into essentially who I've been talking to, what I hope to get covered in some future episodes, and things from there. This should be a quick episode. So the first question that I've gotten a lot of is, what's the difference between ocean rowing and rowing like on a river or a lake or a pond or something? And that one's a little bit hard to address in a podcast, so I'm gonna do a video on that as well, so I can kind of give you some images, and you can get that on the YouTube channel. But ocean rowing is basically in a giant boat, so they're like 21 feet by 4 or 5 feet kind of thing. So they're pretty large, they're heavy. I have not looked into actually how much they weigh or things like that. I actually plan to build my own boat, and that's kind of part of where I'm at right now and what I've been focusing on lately and learning a lot about, so I'm really excited to share that with you. But when you are on a lake, or if you're doing something called crew, which is essentially racing in a boat, but rowing racing, those are done in something called a shell, and they're just really, really long and thin. So think of like your hips. Your hips are like almost at the edge of it. So however wide that is, I'm bad about this, so maybe about 2 feet-ish, 2.5 feet. But essentially, well, I guess not that much, but maybe. So they're thin, really, really slick boats. They're designed for you to be able to race in, for you to be able, they do make the wider ones, but they are designed for you to just be able to move quickly. Whereas an ocean rowing boat, the goal is that they can flip over and flip and turn themselves back over, so that if you capsize, they turn back over. I guess self-righting might be the word for that. And they're designed to keep you alive when you're in the middle of an ocean. Whereas something on a lake is designed for speed and efficiency. So I think that that's probably the big difference that I can kind of explain. I'll show you some pictures. When you see a picture, you'll kind of understand it. Ocean rowing boats also are designed, they're holding your food for while you're on your adventure. They've got your water maker, they've got navigation tools, they've got steering type of situation going on, and that depends on the boat and things like that. Whereas a boat on the lake that you're racing in, pretty much it's you and maybe your water bottle and shoes, but it's not holding a lot of things. So that's the biggest difference. So I hope that helps with that. Please let me know if it didn't. Another question I got is, what's the best way to practice ocean rowing if you live in land and you're not really near water? So I'm in Denver, Colorado. I'm not near an ocean. So getting on an ocean is going to be something I'm going to have to really go out of my way to be able to practice and be able to do. So if you're like me, essentially you're doing strength training, you're doing mental preparation, and you're rowing on an erg or on the indoor rowing machine. So those are pretty much the main ways that you can practice. You can also get out on the water. I'm in Denver. there is a lake. I am part of the Rocky Mountain Rowing Club here, and that's a new thing. And I just learned how to scull the other day with 2 oars. So that's really exciting. And you can check out some videos I have on YouTube for that if you want to see it. But essentially, I'm learning to row with 2 oars by doing that. So I'm getting into clubs. So join the clubs that are near you. Pretty much if there's a large body of water, like a lake or something, there's likely a rowing club. So even if you're landlocked like me, there's something out there. Well, it's not the same as an ocean rowing boat. It gives you that concept of how to row with 2 oars. You have a moving seat, things like that. And you're able to kind of practice and get out there and do that. So that's the second question I got. I hope that helps some of you with those. Please feel free to ask the questions. I will answer them on here. The exciting part that I'm excited to share is I've talked to a few people over the past 3 or 4 weeks, and one is going to be my next guest speaker, who will be in early May. We'll be releasing that. That's Kelda Wood, and I'm really excited. She was a solo rower, and she's actually the first, I believe she's the first woman to complete it solo who has a disability. So that's really cool, and I'm really excited, especially from a physical therapist perspective. If you don't know, I'm a physical therapist, so I'm really excited to talk to her and learn about how she conquered that and ask her a bunch of questions. So that's going to be my next episode. I've also been talking to Tim Crockett, who was part of Tame the Kraken, and he just finished in the Talisker Whiskey Atlantic Challenge for the Atlantic Ocean, crossing the Atlantic Ocean, in the 2018 challenge. So I'm really excited for that as well. He actually came back with some other questions that I thought that I would also share with you guys. So one of the questions he asked is, what kind of campaign do I want to run? And I was like, that's a great question. I have no idea. So basically, I don't really have an answer for that one. As you guys know, some of the struggles I'm having is grasping behind fundraising, how to do that. I didn't know there were different type of campaigns, so I'm actually really excited to talk to him. I just got him on the book, so I'm talking to him in May, so he'll be one of my next guest speakers as well. But I hope to learn more from him on what campaign options are there, so I'm excited. So that'll help me with that fundraising part of that. Next, he asked, am I looking to set a record? Do I just want to participate? Do I have specific goals? What am I looking for? And I kind of let him know I am not looking to break any records. It'd be cool if I did, but I don't think I'm going to. My goal is just as a personal goal. This is something I want to do. Maybe it's a midlife crisis or a quarter life crisis. I don't really know. Or an early midlife crisis. Either way, it's something I want to do, and I want to do it for me. I'm not a extremely competitive person where I have to go for a record. It'd be cool, but I'm just doing it to complete the race. My goal is finish and show myself that I can do that and finish. So I think that's what I got from that question and kind of my answer for that. And then he asked, what kind of boat do I want? And this is something I'm really excited about. I've actually been talking to someone, Pete Rhodes, who's also going to be on the podcast. He is building his own boat right now, so I'm really excited. So Pete Rhodes is documenting on Instagram. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I'm gonna put in the podcast notes and in the YouTube on the bottom. I'm gonna put this where you can basically get to his Instagram, but I forget. He's rowed North Atlantic, and he's gonna row the Atlantic Ocean. I'm not entirely sure if he's doing the Talisker Whiskey Challenge or not. I'm waiting for a response on that one. Either way, I'm gonna be able to share as I gain more knowledge into what he's doing. But it's really cool because he's building a boat from the person I found who has boats, and I'll share more info on that later as well. But essentially, he's doing a new design of a boat, and he's building it literally in his garage. He's posting pictures of it, and it's really cool to see. So I've been following him. I reached out to him because if you don't know, you might know, I want to build my own boat. So things that I did, someone actually reached out to me and said, hey, you might want to make sure you can do that. So I reached out to the Talisker Whiskey Atlantic Challenge crew at Atlantic Campaigns, and I got the go-ahead. Basically, yes, I can build my own boat. It has to meet certain specifications, and I believe that they help you with that. And I think that Pete mentioned something like that, so I'm hoping to get more information. But essentially I got the go ahead that yes, there's certain things you need to do, but you can build your own boat. So I'm really excited. So basically, I'm going to build my own boat. What boat? I don't know. I'd love if it was kind of carbon fiber or fiberglass, but I don't know. And I don't know a lot. To be honest, I don't know the difference between carbon fiber and fiberglass. I watch Pete's things with his pictures, and I'm like, what is he doing? Cool, he's getting farther, but I don't actually know what the pictures resemble besides progress. Luckily, I showed the pictures to my husband, and he was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I'm following, and he understood it all. So I'm glad that he's on my side and helping me build this thing when I get there. But that's pretty much where I'm at. So I talked to Tim Crockett, gonna talk to Kelda Wood, and I talked to Pete Rhodes. So Pete, I'm hoping to get on here. I'm gonna ask him a bunch of questions about his boat. I'm gonna get him on here again when he's closer to when he's probably finished his boat or almost done. Pretty much right before he's going to take off. And then I'm going to get him on here when he's done with his crossing. So I'm really excited. He's going to be my first before and after person, likely. And from there, I'm also getting Tim Crockett and Kelda Wood, and they're coming soon. So please look out for the next ones. Lots of questions to be answered. Find out more about campaigning, fundraising, how they crossed, talking to a female solo crosser, and I'm really excited. I think that's really cool. It's coming together. If you would like to be on this podcast or you just want to share anything with me, please feel free to reach out. I would love to have you on this podcast. This podcast is for anybody wanting to learn about ocean rowing or anybody who wants to ocean row but doesn't know where to start. So follow me along. I'm talking to people. I'm hearing their stories. I'm asking my questions. If you have questions for any of those people, please feel free to reach out to me. My email will also be in there, but mail@oceanrowingpodcast.com. Give me a shout out and I will definitely pass on those questions and get those answered for us. And if not on the podcast, in an email, and I will do an update episode on it. But either way, that's where I'm at. Basically, I'm making progress with decision making for the boat, and I've got some awesome, amazing people lined up to come on this podcast. So that's my update episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like it or you want to hear more, you want to hear from my guest speakers, please hit that subscribe button, whether you're on YouTube or on podcast, and I look forward to our next episode. Bye, guys.